know, they made some action figures of some of the kids that played the parts here in the Lost World. What I want to know is what happens when you go to the store and there's no action figures left. All of them are sold out. And then mine, maybe, the Nick Van Owen action figure, there's rows and rows of them. And the one mom looking desperately says, oh, look, there is some left. There is some Tommy. There is a Lost World action figure left. We have the video expert. We have Nick Van Owen. And then the kid says, Nick Van Owen sucks. I don't want the Nick Van Owen doll. Anyway, this is my action figure here, Nick Van Owen. And some of the action figures look like the people in the movie, and others not so much.
Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and remember what I said about Hasbro last week? And that's it for this week. Yes, no Hasbro, because, well, I lead up to this time of year with, well, it's almost San Diego Comic-Con season, just dropping, but they're waiting. They didn't do anything this week. Well, this week they came back with a vengeance, because we're only a week out from the big show. Well, not that big show. The grand poobah of all conventions eliminates even the toughest stains. I can't say poobah without that shooting into my brain. No, it is time for San Diego Comic-Con, and you know what that means. Exclusives. In fact, that's the word for today. I am going to say exclusive so much you are going to get sick of hearing the word exclusive. In fact, I'm already sick of hearing it myself. Because not only is it San Diego Comic-Con, there's a double whammy of Walmart Collector Con happening at the exact same time. So many shinies calling our name, but lingering doubt creeping into the back of our brains. I love it, but I also hate it. Thankfully, I'm not gunning for much this year, but those tiny morsels, those delicious nuggets, oh baby, I need them. We're gonna book in this episode of the Weekly with G.I.Joe, starting with Super7's SDCC Ultimates exclusives. Red Jackal Destro just changes up the color scheme a little bit, splashing some of that oh-so-popular these days Cobra Crimson in with the red t-shirt. At least that's what caught my eye at first. The more I looked at it, the more I realized, oh, well, the collar's also now white, and then the boots, the belt, and the gloves are black. I don't know if this is a reference to something specific where Destro is forced to show less skin than he usually does, but I know this is the makings of a pretty good convention exclusive. It's not necessary, but it'd be neat to have. And that's the same for Red Knock Baroness. It gives off those Crimson Guard vibes that all the toy companies are doing these days, but in the name, it makes me think Dreadnought. So, I don't know. I guarantee this is some kind of overseas release back in the 80s or something that I am unaware of. But there you go. She's already in the line with blue clothes and black clothes. This only makes sense. I mean, again, convention exclusive. Super7 also continued to tease their ThunderCats Ultimates Cat's Lair this week, and it's just mind-melting. Again, not to drive this joke into the ground, but this will be large. But there's also a little more information. Apparently, Brian Flynn did an interview where he stated that this would be $650. And in the grand scheme of things, that's not really bad at all. Yeah, it's still a chunk of change, and this is going to take up quite a bit of space in your collection, but it's impressive. Sure, there's less engineering than the tank, but I kind of think of Snake Mountain when I look at this, where it's just a big, nifty environment to display your figures. I also think this is going to be a crowdfund situation of some kind. You got to meet some goals, but I can't confirm that. I didn't actually watch the interview. Hey man, I've been working on stuff. I've been busy. Quite a bit of McFarlane DC Multiverse goings on this week, and it's kind of wacky. First off, remember how I recorded last week before the DC Multiverse Amazon exclusive gold label 89 Batman and Batmobile actually went up for sale on Amazon? And remember how I said I couldn't predict the future, but it was probably going to be a hello, goodbye, and unfortunately that's exactly what happened. Just whoop whoop, and then I think it popped up a couple more times for pre-order, and then even then whoop whoop, hello. But I'm still swinging back around to this because Todd has stated that there will be more available for pre-order next Monday, which would be July 17th at 12 p.m. Eastern. That's noon. Next Monday. So if you're needing this thing, jump on there, because I don't know if they've fixed the quantity issue where a customer can order way too many, and that may have been part of the problem. All I got is, hey, 89 Batman and Batmobile, coming back to Amazon. But heading back into exclusive talk, a couple of DC Multiverse figures that have been revealed are now announced as San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. The Dark Knight Trilogy Bank Robber Joker, Sonar Joker, and Bane with Soft Goods Jacket all fall into this category. Now that we have clearer shots of Sonar Joker, he looks kind of like an ice sculpture, and I do not know why that makes me like it even more. Put it in a garden somewhere. The Dread Lantern is also going to be San Diego Comic-Con in the DC booth, but on that front, McFarlane Toys has already announced a standard version of Alan Scott. So I like that the variant that's less popular, or at least I assume is less popular, I haven't read DC in a long time, is going to be the exclusive, and then Mainline will get the classic, iconic version. There's also a line art deco version of the Fighting the Frozen Mr. Freeze. This is Page Punchers, which is technically not DC Multiverse, but it has all the DC Multiverse beats when it comes to sculpt and paint and articulation and scale, so I'm talking about them here. I'm not going to give it its own section. It's that big scuba diver suited Mr. Freeze in a black and white color scheme. Like it's just shaded with not even a pencil, it's just black and white. And those eyes peering out from them. For Superman, there is this odd anniversary edition with a red and blue splotchy paint job. I'm usually into this kind of thing where it looks like a piece of artwork, and that's exactly what this is. But here, I don't know if it's just a black and white thing that I prefer, but when they use actual colors, it comes off kind of muddy. But at the same time, exclusive. Who cares? It's limited availability. It's for people into that kind of thing, but you can pass on by if you want just comic book versions of characters. Saying that, there's also this 30th anniversary Nightfall Batman. Oh man, this rings all my bells. I liked the standard Nightfall Batman, but the colors here seem slightly darker, not too much. The grays on the bodysuit, the blues, but what gets me is the shadowing on the cowl and even the trunks. It just gives it a little itty bitty extra bit of oomph, and I think it's the eyebrows that do it for me personally. I always liked that extra bit of expression. Plus it gives it a Super Friends vibe, and I know a lot of you don't want to hear that, but that makes it even more tempting to me. Shifting over to Entertainment Earth, there's a couple of more artsy top repaints for Batman Who Laughs and Rebirth Superman. Not a lot to say here, black and white versions of sculpts we've already seen. I mean, again, nice exclusives. Thankfully though, the classic Riddler is a mainline release, so there shouldn't be any problems getting our grubby little hands on this one, because it looks good. Hey, look, something not exclusive, which seems oddball in the middle of this episode, but I can't help myself. Here is the Kaiyodo Amazing Yamaguchi Thor. And when I first saw it, I thought, oh, yeah, okay. At first the modern design threw me, but then I remembered it's the same for Iron Man. It's the same for Captain America. Why not make a Thor that fits in with those two? Plus, the muscly Revoltech characters always benefit from extra sculpted detail. It kind of helps hide the gaps and the joints. I don't know why I'm pointing at the elbows, because if anything, those are the ones that stand out the most in this picture. The rest has costume and armor plates and everything else. Flip side though, I guarantee this will be the most agile Thor you've ever laid hands on. And a cloth cape instead of the jigsaw puzzle multiverse of madness segmented monstrosity they used to put on these things. Kaiyodo, you're spoiling me. No other pictures or info yet, but I think there is an overseas show right around the corner, so I'll bet we'll find out more very, very soon. Marvel, of course, brings us to Legends and the beginning of the Hasbro convention extravaganza. But that also means getting into Walmart Collector Con. Whose bright idea was it to run this the exact same day that San Diego Comic-Con starts? Because that makes it a pain in the ass on so many more levels. For people traveling, for people already plopping down money for SDCC exclusives at the same time. Although I guess with the Walmart Collector Con, it's a pre-order. So you'll pay for those if they ever show up. Because the biggest pain in the ass is that it's Walmart. I know this is G.I.Joe and we'll get into that in a minute, but I pre-ordered the retro-carded Storm Shadow last Walmart Collector Con, exactly a year ago, and my order still shows delayed, even though it's popped into stock a couple of times, and I thought, I should have known better. I know, I've been doing this long enough, but I waited for some dumbass reason, and here we are, still delayed. So pardon me if I don't get all excited about your Collector Con, Walmart. Which sucks because I really want the new Bucky Cap and Joe Fixit. Had we seen pictures of Fixit's package before? Because, well, okay, not that package, the box, the container the figure comes in. Because it's kind of striking with the purples coming back around into a whole, you know, I don't give a damn about the trash around my plastic, but yeah, I kind of like that. And then, rip. And then there's Bucky, who I'm pretty sure we haven't seen any pretty promotional pictures. Maybe one or two during a live stream, but had we seen anything after that? My memory is so many toys. I'm getting older. All I know is looking at these pictures that I think I haven't seen before of the Bucky Barnes Captain America, I'm getting those plastic sweats. I'm not too interested in the Walmart exclusive 6-arm Spider-Man vs. Morbius, though. We've already essentially gotten these figures. The only thing new in this package is Spider-Man's torso. It now has articulation in it. And that was the big gripe when it first released. Hey, there's 6 arms. Why is there no torso articulation? So they put that in there. But the other big gripe was, hey, the web lines aren't painted. And the web lines still aren't painted. But I'm being negative about it, I guess, because I don't care about 6-arm Spider-Man, and I already have that Morbius. What would have been cool, would have been more tempting, is at least a different color scheme on Morbius, and then the web lines painted on, you know, Spider-Man. You know what I mean? No. What got my attention more, even though it's another Deadpool, is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive set of Deadpool and Bob, Agent of Hydra. A little out of left field, I guess, because we haven't gotten a comic Deadpool in a little bit, but at the same time, there's a lot of Deadpool movie news swirling around the internet, so why not ride that wave? First glance, though, I already have that Deadpool, I already have that Bob. Boom. I don't have to worry about it. But then I realized they both have upgraded bodies. Deadpool is on the Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, and then Bob, I think, is on the Sunfire body. There's also pinless limbs. Oh, so much better! It's still Deadpool and Bob for people that are happy with their Deadpool and Bobs, but it's also Deadpool and Bob. There's 28 accessories, lots of hands, some actual guns, which is cool because there was that whole no real gun scare a while back, and then some other random weapons with totally random decos. Totally random. No rhyme or reason why the staff has some purple accents, and the Sai have red handles, and the swords have blue grips, and there's just, you know, a little splash of orange on the nunchucks. No reason. No reason. Star Wars Black Series, yay! Walmart Collector Con, not yay. But I consider myself lucky because I'm not picking up everything these days. I have broken my completist habits. I'm trying not to buy so many different versions of the same character and sticking to classics or things I really, really like. And it's not that I hate the Obi-Wan show, it's just that I don't need Obi-Wan in all the different robes. To spell it out, Walmart is getting an exclusive Jedi Legend Obi-Wan Kenobi and Force Ghost Qui-Gon Jinn. I guess I've never made the connection between the last clothes that Obi-Wan wore in the show and Mythos Obi-Wan that's been around for years. That's kind of a neat connection that almost makes me want this. Well, it does look pretty good, huh? But the sheer knighty Force Ghost look has never been my favorite. So Qui-Gon all shined up with a purple glow to it, yeah, that's cool. Especially for an exclusive. Hey, there you go. It's not needed. It's just kind of neat. The announcement that got my ears perked up a little more is the PulseCon exclusive. Hey, we're adding more shows to the docket. There we go. The PulseCon exclusive Force Unleashed, Starkiller, and Stormtrooper set. It's been a while since I've played the game, and it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but give me something where I can just run through stormtroopers with all kinds of force powers, and I'm a happy, happy boy. So I'm happy to see a couple of upgraded stormtroopers here, but those, along with the kick-ass effect pieces and the extra Starkiller parts, does jack the price up. $110. You take away the stormtroopers, that's $50, $60 for Starkiller and his effect pieces, and the pretty box, the exclusivity, and everything else. But Yakface.com has said that a stripped-down version of Starkiller will be hitting the Gaming Greats line. So if you don't want all this extra stuff, or you don't want to pay that really high price, you should be happier down the road somewhere. You just gotta wait it out. And no, we do not know when PulseCon is exactly yet. I think they're announcing that next week so they can just keep the things going. Hey, here's this show and these figures, and the next show and these figures, and live stream and these figures. And then finally, I warned you that we were ending this weekly with G.I. Joe, so here we are. More sweet Hasbro classified series. We've talked about the HasLab Dragonfly a couple of times, but there's some newness to discuss. One, more pretty promotional pictures were posted, making it more appealing. You know, as they tend to do. We see it in action, in environments, in some ACBA, and oh, man, that will look amazing on my shelf. Seeing Wild Bill all out and about and interacting with the Dragonfly, oh man. Mwah. Now, none of this was needed to actually fund the helicopter base package with the chopper and Wild Bill and the weapons and the effects. That all happened within the first few days. But we're nearing the end of the campaign now, so it's time to ramp things up. That's why Hasbro also revealed Night Force Crazy Legs as the third stretch goal, even though at the time, Glinda, the second stretch goal, hadn't been funded yet. At that exact moment, it was, hey, there's a week left, either put up or shut up. Even though we're collectors, we never shut up either way. How about, this is what we're offering, make a decision, because you don't have much time left. As of this exact moment, where I'm recording on Friday, there are 16,468 backers with 3 days and 9 hours left. That means Glinda is unlocked, so there's a little bit more value for the overall package. So it comes down to Crazy Legs, and with that much time left, I don't have a lot of doubt that he will get unlocked too. I am just as shocked and appalled as you are to see that there is a red hat included. I did not know Crazy Legs was a Limp Bizkit fan. I know y'all be loving this shit! So, there is still time left. We are in the end game. Wrong franchise. But like Marvel and Star Wars, there's also some G.I. Joe Classified Series exclusives for Walmart Collector Con, and you gotta remember, Robo watched the cartoon when he was a kid, but didn't do a lot of collecting, so a lot of things are outside of my realm of knowledge when it comes to G.I. Joe. Yeah, I know that Hasbro's on a Crimson kick lately, so Alley Viper in this color scheme, it was kind of expected. But I didn't think it would catch my eye this hard. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the orange color scheme of the first release. I made fun of it a little bit because, bam, orange. But seeing it like this, it almost seems like this design was made to be in these colors. Again, as a casual G.I. Joe collector, it just seems more Cobra-like overall. There's also Shooter, and I have no clue about her. I dig the design though. Some people have been saying that there's Fortnite elements to it, and I can see that in the shoes and the size of the gun versus body ratio, but I like Fortnite figures too, so this works for me. Plus, I'll never turn down another female Joe member. That's just adding to the collection. But then the Mole Rats tie the Dark Energon mining theme completely together, because these guys were sent in to find another power source for Cobra, and then was affected by the radiation or the powers of Dark Energon. In my brain, though, these were just hired workers. They were kind of like, hey, I don't care for Cobra too much, but a paycheck's a paycheck. I'll go down in these mines and then slowly mutate into a zombie-like mindless creature, just and poor guys. Then apparently the Crimson Alley Vipers are sent in to keep the peace, and Shooter investigates. That's very nice world building, especially since they just announced Tunnel Rat just sometime in the recent past. Tunnel Rat would fit right in with this whole scenario. But then the Mole Rats are just a cool design. You have your zombie options, you have your miner options, you have your mining tools, you have some weapons. Some of them fit together to make bigger weapons and or tools. It's a nice trooper building. I would have liked to seen extra, well, you have the masked head, you have the zombie head. I'd like to see something that is a little different for the zombie head. All your zombies are gonna look the same. But again, Walmart exclusive, so who knows if troop building is even on the table. We may be lucky just to get one or two. What I'm trying to say is Walmart exclusives need to go away. I am way more excited about the announcement of San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Chuckles. Chuckles wasn't really high on my priority list for a lot of years, but then Veebs would talk about how important this was when he was a kid, and having Chuckles and not a lot else when it came to G.I. Joe. But, well, okay, not bigger than that, but just as much. I found out he's from Little Rock, Arkansas. I got a root for the hometown boy. I also read that Chuckles mini at some point. I don't remember a lot of it now. I need to go back and read it again, but they made him a complete badass in that. But don't think I missed the other Transformers connection with the Soundwave tape deck. With the fancy packaging and all the extras, I gotta think there's a stripped down version down the road somewhere, but I've said that about other releases too, and it kind of hasn't happened. But this and the Deadpool set is the same QR code situation we saw at conventions last year, where you're on the con floor, you scan it, you order it, but it was also made available on Pulse. So hopefully it's not too hard to get. Come on, don't be too hard to get. And that's all for this week. Exclusives, exclusives, exclusives. Like I've said several times, probably too many times, San Diego Comic-Con is next week. So if I miss something this week, I probably won't be swinging around next week. I'll be on the con floor with Veebs, we'll be taking pictures, and if hotel internet allows, we're going to be doing live streams on this channel. Just showing what we saw, relaying what we heard, and interacting with y'all. It's always a good, fun time. It'll be later in the evening because it's California time. So sorry, East Coast, but you get out of the con, you gotta find food. Our hotel's a ways out, so we'll have to do some traveling, get back, and then, again, we haven't had much luck with hotels the past year or so. It's toy news, so it's just a continuous thing. We'll keep on rolling. Rolling. Keep rolling. Yeah!